Welcome to Larry's Library, and welcome to another edition of the Sunday Scan, the series where I show you a quick look at a single issue comic book I read. And today I read Kobra number 4, this one right here. Now, the cover on this one is by the phenomenal Joe Kubert. And that is an artist, oddly enough, that I did not like much as a kid. So when I first discovered Joe Kubert, I just didn't like it. I was a big Kirby guy. I mean, I still am. But I was into Kirby and not so much Joe Kubert. And so the comics that were coming out at the time, stuff like this from the late 70s, a lot of times Kirby was leaving in title. And sometimes Joe Kubert would be the next one to pick up the pencil, or at least for some of the covers. And the difference between Kirby's lines and Kubert's lines are so drastically different that it was jarring, and it just made me hate Joe Kubert. And only now as an adult, decades later, do I really get it, and I appreciate both styles a lot. And I like this cover a lot, and I believe he penciled and inked it. Sure what it looks like to me, and yeah, I love it. Now, getting into this one, the splash page here, not quite as dynamic and, not quite as dynamic and interesting as a lot of the splash pages, the opening pages that we've looked at in this series. And we got Martin Pasco still scripting, looking at the credit box here. And we've got Pat Gabriel, it says layouts and pacing, odd way to phrase it, and Lowell Anderson finished art. Got to tell you, never heard of either one of those guys. If you have, comment down in the comments and let me know what you've seen their work on and if you like them. Now, this is from 1976, this issue. Now, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, Kobra issue 3, at the end of that, it said the book was canceled. Well, not yet, because here's issue 4. Now, looking at this art, it does immediately remind me of Jack Kirby, and that's in a good way, at least as far as the figure of Kobra in the foreground here, and the way it's inked, the really dark, black, thick lines. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the brushwork of Gene Colan. Now, this is nowhere near the caliber of Gene Colan, but I do like it. I do like it okay. Not sure about the equipment over here. This is supposed to be an archaeological dig site. And you've got a backhoe-like device over here in the background. And there's a cobra painted on the shovel. And it's kind of goofy looking. Reminds me of something from some of the G.I. Joe cartoons. Oh, no offense, I know those are popular, but a lot of that stuff looked goofy to me. But now, turning the page, we've got a double page splash, and I'm going to let it cover my face here because I want you guys to see this. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, there's some panel work throughout, but it actually spreads across both pages, and it's pretty nice. And it continues more of that very Jack Kirby-like qualities that I enjoy, of course. And this is showing that at this dig site, another meteor falls from space, and it's another one of those ovoids. And if you go back to the show where we did issue 1, you'll know what an ovoid is. It's this big meteor type thing that contains, it's like an egg almost, that has a giant robot inside of it. But on the left of this shot, you see Kobra's Ark, that ship he travels around. It's very strange. And on the right, you see an alien space station or spacecraft, mothership of some kind, that dropped this ovoid. So it is nice to see Martin Pasco getting back to some of these plot threads that have been left dangling this whole time. Like, what is the origin of this robot from issue 1? And now we get to see those aliens, because they're sending another one. And I'm even going to show a scan of the page after this where the egg, the ovoid hatches, and another giant robot like in issue 1 comes out. These are called servitors, if you remember. And I actually like the art here. It's pretty fun. And Kobra's people end up knocking this robot out and chaining it up. And it also, there's a little cylinder that drops from this mothership, and it talks to Kobra. And it's got a little alien inside of it, is what we learn. Literally has a little alien guy inside of there. And I will show a shot of a scan of this page. It's some wild stuff. So this little alien pops out. He looks to be about 18, 19 inches tall, maybe. He's got 4 arms and 2 heads. And he tells Kobra a little bit about their race. And it turns out they reproduce asexually. And when they come out, they have 2 heads, 4 arms, 2 legs. And then eventually they split off into 2 separate beings. So that immediately gets the wheels to turn in Kobra's mind, because he's been researching how to sever the symbiote link that he has with his brother Jason Burr, whom he hates for reasons. And he figures, oh, if I can experiment on this alien guy and figure out how they do that, then maybe I can figure out how to sever this link between me and my brother. So already he's planning on butchering this guy in the name of his unholy sciences. So that's interesting. So we end up having 2 of these servitors under Kobra's command, because Kobra makes a deal with this alien by lying to him. He cons the alien into believing that he's the good guy and that these people he's about to attack are the bad guys. Of course, we know this isn't true as a reader. And so these 2 robots, giant robots, drawn pretty cool here. I'll show a scan of this page. They go and intercept the flight that the CIA agent, George, what's his name? Ricardo Perez. I started to call him George Perez, but Ricardo Perez, the CIA agent, is on. They rip the plane in half, quite spectacularly. It's done here. Rip it in half, pull him out, and murder him. Pretty gruesome stuff for an old comic book. They crush he gets crushed in the fist. I'll show a scan of that. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this art more than I thought I would, because that opening page wasn't terrific. I mean, it was interesting. I liked the figure work of the guy, but I ended up liking this art a lot more than I thought I would. This page here, chapter 3, begins with another very Kirby-esque shot on this upper panel. I'll show a scan of that. Liked that quite a bit, I did. Again, more than I thought I would. I'll show a scan on the next page too. You get to see a more close-up shot of the alien. And he has these fire powers. He puts this fire ring around this area where the CIA agents are fighting the Kobra agents, and just all hell, chaos ensues on this airplane landing strip. And Jason Burr and his brother Kobra are fist fighting and grappling over this power rod. It's pretty fun stuff. I'll show that scan as well. And of course, every time they hit each other, they damage each other, you know. It's wild. This issue ends with the aliens taking back all of their stuff, all of their tech, realizing that Kobra has lied to them. And they take all of their stuff and fire it back up into the mothership, and they leave. You know, they tractor beam it up there, and they're gone. And another thing of note in this issue is new character comes in here. Not a new character, but new to the series. And let me get his name right here. Randu Singh. And when I seen him, it's an Indian guy, I thought, man, this seems familiar. Who is this? So I looked it up. You know, I did a quick Google, because you know, you get old, you forget things. This is the character that's from Kirby's Demon series. And here he shows up in toward the end of this issue of Kobra. So that's pretty interesting. So, hope you like taking a look at that. If you want to see more of this, subscribe. Give me a like if you liked it. Come back for more next week. next Sunday, I will do the next issue of Godzilla in my read-through. And then I'll return to Kobra the week after that. So hope you like that. Like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time.